important voice at the Synod is an influential Archbishop from Africa who believes synodality is the way forward for the Catholic Church. A member of the Vatican Synod Council, Archbishop Andrew Nkea is not shy about his views of prior Synod meetings and what he's hoping for next as the Synod meetings recommenced. He spoke recently to our Montse Alvarado. Here is Archbishop Andrew Nkea of Cameroon on the record.
And has your experience then in the Synod this first round, and now we're gearing up for the upcoming gathering again in October, has that experience, what has it been like? What was it like for you going to the Synod? Were you prepared for what you would see?
Again, I must go back to the beginning. I am a member of the Synod Council. After the Synod of 2018 on the youth, which produced Christus Vivit, I was elected a member of the Synod Council. And therefore, the work of the Synod Council is to help the Holy Father prepare for the next Synod. So from the very beginning, from the choice of topic, from drafting the early documents, I've been involved. And therefore, the Synod did not come to me as a surprise because we were involved from the very beginning, working together with the Holy Father. And synodality is something I believe in. Synodality is the way forward for our church, holding hands together and moving forward. But you discover that from the time synodality was conceived as a topic for the next synod until the first phase of the synod, there has been a lot of evolution. There are many things that are being talked about now that has absolutely nothing to do with synodality. In synodality, everybody respects everybody. We hold our hands together. We are all moving towards the kingdom of God. It has nothing to do with doctrine. It has nothing to do with governance in the sense of who is oppressing who. But when you look at synodality as a new way of being church, nobody is left behind. Together, we begin to work from the family level to the mission station level, to the small Christian communities, to the parishes. At every level, we are moving together. And therefore, synodality, for me, is the way forward for the church. And I keep saying to journalists especially, you have to distinguish authentic synodality from contaminated synodality. Because a lot of topics that have come on the table that have nothing to do with synodality.
What would you say are some of those topics that were brought up during the first gathering of the Synod? What was some of that contamination?
For example, you jump into the Synod Hall and you spend 2 days arguing about ordination of women. If they want to, those are things that belong to the Pontifical Theological Commission or LGBTQ. Should I bless homosexuals or not? What has that got to do with being church, moving forward together, and a synodal church where everybody listens to everybody? Why do we spend 2, 3, 4 days arguing whether the word LGBTQ should enter the document or not? For me, these are distractions. If you go back and you look at some of the documents of which we have had, especially we look at Ecclesia in Africa, we look at Africe Munus. Those are documents which already laid a very strong foundation for a synodal church. If you look at the way John Paul presented the family from the African Synod, the church as family. In the family you have thieves, the family you have saints. It's the same family. And therefore, you are family. No matter who you are and what your orientation is, we are family. And therefore, this foundation already for a synodal church had been laid. Now we have to build on this foundation to walk together as family towards the kingdom of God. And all the theological topics that are being brought on, or the, whether priests should marry or not, whether women should be priests or bishops, or whether angels are male or female, what has this got to do with synodality? So this is my point.
It's a good point. Some of the documents that have been produced since the first gathering of the Synod, one of them is Fiducia Supplicans, another one is Dignitas Infinita. One seems to be clarifying the other. You've made significant pronouncements, almost a rejection of, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, of Fiducia. In light of those two documents, what do you think you will be representing when you come into the second gathering of the Synod, or even in between?
As president of the Conference of Bishops in Cameroon, I signed a declaration of the bishops of Cameroon against Fiducia Supplicans. This had nothing to do with African culture, but it had something to do with the authentic teaching of the Catholic Church. At the time we all were ordained bishops, we took a vow, made the promise of upholding the deposit of faith and handing over this deposit of faith to the next generation, undiluted and uncontaminated. This is what we are talking about. It has nothing to do with my being African or not. And therefore, those who say that, oh, you see, the Africans, they don't accept this because of their culture, it has nothing to do with that. What has the church taught us for 2,000 years? And why are we, and who is trying to deviate us from this teaching of the faith of our fathers? This is our strong point. And therefore, we went into the arguments to say that Fiducia Supplicans is asking us to bless homosexual couples. And we have tried to make this very clear. Anybody who comes in front of me, I bless them. I don't make distinction who is who. I don't ask you what's your orientation before I bless you. No. But if two men come holding hands and a couple, our worry was with the word couple. And that is why we say this is a deviation from the authentic teaching of the Catholic Church. And the church is a divine institution run by human beings. We always have to look forward and looking at the church as the winner, not individuals.